access to these events on the CourseLink site in case you couldn't make one day. Okay, well, welcome to the course. So Communicating Science to the Public. My name is Joe Grabowski, and I will be the instructor for the course. If you have been on the CourseLink, you can pretty much ignore everything that was there except for the course outline that was uploaded yesterday. So I taught this course in winter 2019, and then was just given access back to my email account and the CourseLink over the weekend. So everything that was on there was probably stuff from the 2019 winter offering. So the due dates, the assignments, those kind of things, they won't be accurate, but the new course outline that was loaded yesterday, that one is accurate, and we'll go through that a little bit today towards the end of our time together. Also, apologies to anybody who might have tried to reach out to me via email before the course. Like I said, I just got my logins back, and I can see that there were people who reached out the last couple of weeks, but starting today, I guess, I'll be able to answer emails and keep everybody up to date if anybody has any questions or needs anything from me. So this is something that I really enjoy, communicating science to the public. It's something that didn't start out as what I was planning on doing for a career. But as I'm sure most of you know, plans change, opportunities come up, and sometimes you just have to go after what you want to do. So what I thought I'd start by doing today is sharing my screen and running through a little presentation about myself, my experience with science communication, and what led me to be here in front of everybody today. So that's how we're going to start. And then we'll take a little time to look at the course outline. We'll talk about the first assignment. And then, of course, anybody can feel free to go ahead and ask any questions that you might have from there. So let's jump in here to a little screen share. Okay, if for some reason you're not seeing my screen, let me know, but it should be up and ready to go. Okay. So, like I mentioned, I didn't start off as a science communicator. I didn't start off doing what I was doing until a little bit later in life. So, if there's one thing I want you to take away from this course, it's going to be, to go after your passion, take risks, and make sure that what you're doing is exactly what you want to be doing for your whole career. Because, I can tell you the difference between, doing something you enjoy doing, but also doing something that you're passionate about. There can be a lot of a difference. And, if you can make your career feel less like work, it's so much better. So a little bit about me. This is my family, my wife, Liz. And then I've got 2 kids. Nora is 4 in junior kindergarten, and Finn is 8. He's in grade 3, so they're both doing virtual learning now that schools in Ontario shut down officially after the break. And then I have 2 rescue mutts. There's Zeppelin there in the back, and then Maya, who is a rescue from Belize. So we'll talk a little bit more about her later on in the presentation. Oops. There we go. So my favorite thing to do is to dive. If the opportunity presents itself, I love to get out, lakes, rivers, ocean, whatever. So, it's taken me all around the world, places like Australia, Fiji, all through the US, Mexico, the Galapagos. So whenever I can get out, this is in Bimini. So my favorite type of diving is shark diving. There's nothing better than being in the water with sharks. This are the great hammerheads in Bimini, and I got to spend 6 hours over 2 days with them, which was pretty incredible. I'll give you a little taste of what it's like in the water with them. pretty awesome. 6 hours, nice warm water, really good visibility, only about 25 feet deep. So on one tank of air, you could be down for an hour and a half. The nurse sharks sitting in front, and the hammerheads would come one by one, kind of all orderly. Now, I went to Guelph. I studied biological sciences and zoology. Then I went to Teachers College at Nipissing University, and then pretty quickly got a teaching job and spent about 7 years teaching math and science in Guelph, which was great. It was a lot of fun, but I just felt like I wasn't reaching the students the way that I wanted to, and I knew I needed to do something kind of different to reach them with my passion for science, for nature, for what we're doing to our planet. So I came across an article on CNN about Fabien Cousteau. This is Jacques Cousteau's grandson. He was going to be living and working underwater for 31 days at the world's only underwater reef base, where they do NASA training and all sorts of fun things like that. So what caught my eye about this article was that he was going to be speaking to classrooms via Skype during these 31 days. So, I decided right away my classroom was going to be one of them, and, went about trying to make sure that would happen. But also it kind of got me thinking, how can I bring more science? How can I bring more exciting people into my classroom? So with my class, we set a goal to connect with 50 scientists, explorers, adventurers, conservationists from all over the world. And we did it that first year. We had 52 connections. We found ourselves on the tops of volcanoes and with penguin colonies in Antarctica. At the bottom of the ocean, our 50th connection ended up being with Fabien Cousteau during Mission 31. So another little taste of some of these events. This is one of Canada's 4 remaining astronauts. This is Jeremy Henson talking to us from a NASA facility. This is Dave. Dave essentially quit his life at 25, sold his house, quit his job, and went on this new adventure of saying yes to everything, and is on a mission to do 20 expeditions, human powered, of 1,000 miles or greater. So he's skateboarded across Australia, supboarded the Mississippi River, swam the length of the Missouri River. It's all kinds of crazy things. Penguins in Antarctica. Jean Pennycook lives there for 4 months of the year in a tent with the Adelie penguins doing research. So that was a crazy opportunity to talk to her from the middle of the colony. Nazar Ibrahim is a National Geographic explorer, paleontologist, does a lot of work in Morocco. Live from a volcano in Italy, this is Hugh James with his expedition team. Talking about global warming with my class. This is Paul, and he was on a glacier for us in New Zealand, or sorry, not New Zealand, in Iceland, sharing what's happening to the glaciers in his country. Andrea Marshall, probably one of the world's leading manta ray experts, discovered 2 species, and first person to get their PhD in mantas. So as you can see, there was this incredible world that I could bring into my classroom to get them excited, learning about things that were happening around the world, exciting places, new STEM careers. And it kind of kept growing from there. So one event that really stood out, as a diver, I'd spend weeks trying to convince my class that sharks, are misunderstood, and that they've got a bad rap, and what you hear about them on Discovery Channel isn't exactly true. So I had a marine biologist. There's Jillian right here. She founded Sharks for Kids, and she spoke to my class for 45 minutes, sharing her adventures traveling around the world, diving with sharks, recording, documentaries for National Geographic and such. And in that 45 minutes, she flipped a switch. She, kind of dispelled those myths. She had them excited afterwards and wanting to do something to help protect sharks. Globally, 5 to 7 people are killed each year by sharks, whereas we're removing 75 to 100 million sharks a year through bycatch, through shark finning, and the like. So my class wanted to do something, and we found out there was going to be a shark call in Western Australia. So we wrote letters to the Premier of Western Australia, open letters. They did a lot of research. he wrote back and basically told the kids they didn't know what they were talking about. And so they were pretty fired up. They wrote back another series of letters to him. And in that process, we made headlines locally. So this is one of the Guelph papers, but as well internationally in Western Australia with our campaign. So it's pretty cool to watch my students become global citizens, watch them find their voice, and realize that even at a young age, they can have an impact with what they're doing. They did public service announcements in Australia. They did a video for Sea Shepherd in Australia. So it was really quite an incredible experience for my students. And that grew into a guest speaker tour in our school board. So raising money through grants, through community involvement, we were able to bring those 3 shark scientists from the Bahamas to Guelph. They toured all of the schools, so over 8,000 students, and shared their research and the work that they're doing. And then each subsequent year, we were able to raise funds to bring other speakers in to visit the schools from the UK, from Madagascar. And then one of my personal favorites, a good friend of mine down at the bottom, that's James Ketchell on the top of Everest. So James used to race motorbikes. This was years ago. And he was in a really bad accident, busted up his legs, his arm. The doctor basically said, you know, you're going to have to change your lifestyle. You're not going to be able to live the way you used to. And so he responded to that by rowing solo across the Atlantic Ocean, by climbing Everest, and then cycling 18,000 miles around the world. So a great speaker to talk about resilience and, you know, going after your passions and what you can accomplish. And in fact, he just recently visited me here in Elora on his last big expedition. He became the first person to fly a gyrocopter completely around the world. So complete circumnavigation. So he landed nearby in Kitchener, spent a few days with us before heading out to the Arctic, Greenland, Iceland, and then making his way back to the UK to finish it. So we'll likely connect with James at some point during the course. He's a great guy to hear speak and to get to ask some questions. And then I couldn't resist getting in on the action. So I found myself talking to classrooms in Australia and India and Patagonia and sharing, you know, my diving and sharing, you know, our ocean and what's happening to it. So all that kind of kept growing over 2 years. And in the summer of 2015, I had all these amazing contacts all over the world, scientists, explorers, adventurers, conservationists. And it just seemed like a shame that 30 students a year were benefiting from it. So I decided to launch a nonprofit called Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. And the goal was to inspire the next generation of scientists and explorers. So through virtual guest speakers, through virtual field trips, we've been at it since 2015. We've probably run well over 2,000 live events, connected at least 500,000 students with scientists and explorers from over 80 countries with these events. So these events are always 100% free for classrooms. And we'll talk a little bit more kind of as we dive in a bit. We use a platform called StreamYard. I don't know how many of you might be familiar with StreamYard, but it's a great streaming platform if you do stream and you haven't used it before. And what we like about it is we can have classrooms or the general public for some of our events join in 3 different ways. So live in camera spots to interact directly, you can stream to multiple channels, and then everything records. So we have a library of well over 1,000 events that can be accessed at any time. And then we get to work with some pretty incredible partner groups around the world. You know, National Geographic, NASA, NOAA, Ripley's Aquarium, Toronto Zoo, all kinds of great organizations. So on top of all these organizations, we also work with hundreds and hundreds of individual scientists and explorers from all over the world to share their stories, their work, their research, their adventures, whatever it may be. A few pictures of classrooms in action. Obviously, things look a little bit different now with COVID, but you can see classrooms get pretty excited, oftentimes taking on projects and raising money for some of the organizations, turning their classrooms into underwater reef bases and such. And then a little kind of taste now when students are in school, of course, they're distance and wearing their masks. And then a lot of classrooms are taking part virtually like this. So the educator can join live on camera, and then they can have their class gathered with them, or they can all tune in via YouTube. So each month we host 50 to 60 live events for classrooms, tons of different themes ranging from ocean to biodiversity to space exploration to women in science and exploration. So a big month coming up next month. Every February we kick all the men out and we host exclusively women in science and exploration all month. So it's pretty cool. And one of our more recent months was space exploration. So with our partner groups, we had astronauts and scientists and engineers and science communicators all sharing their love for space and space exploration. We've started building curriculum. I don't know if you've ever used something called Esri Story Maps. We'll touch on that as we go through the course. It's a great platform for building interactive media, and we're using it for some curriculum resources around some of our monthly themes. And then we launched something for classrooms called Backyard Bio. So every September and May, we get classrooms outside using iNaturalist and documenting biodiversity in their areas, posting it online. And then we connect classrooms in groups of 3 to 4 for video calls. They can compete against each other, and then of course share what they're finding in their different places, you know, around North America or around the world. So I mentioned what we do is free for classrooms. So we chase grants, sponsorships, donations, that kind of thing to keep doing what we're doing. And one of our first successes was winning a $100,000 cross-Canada search for the next innovative learning project. With that money, we launched a new website, and we also got our hands on some pretty cool technology. So most of our events take place from a scientist and explorer's home, their lab, their office, in the field with a good 4G connection. But I wanted to find a way to bring the most remote places on the planet live into classrooms. So we found these textbook-sized satellite units being used by mining companies, by the military, by CNN correspondents in remote areas. And we got our hands on 8 of them and started sending them around the world and broadcasting live into classrooms from places, it had never been done or possible before. Few small examples here. This is Clipperton Atoll, the most isolated coral island on the planet. This is on top of a volcano in Guatemala. This is a good friend of mine, Joe Cutler, in Gabon, broadcasting from the river. This is George Kourounis, another Canadian explorer. He's in Antarctica in this picture here. This is elephant seals on a beach in California, and then another mission out to California here with Lindblad Expeditions. And
we're here live in northern Botswana.
So the vibe on this clip isn't too important, but it just really kind of underscores what we can do when we connect live, especially when we do short notice events. So this is Andrew Stein, he's a big cat biologist. So they just darted 2 lions, a male and a female, and they're putting radio collars on them. So we were able to bring that live into classrooms, which is
so we're here in northern Botswana studying the ecology.
I'm explorer and adventurer George Kourounis, and when I explore, I do it by the seat of my pants.
So we try to bring pretty wild things into classrooms. Believe it or not, that's George Kourounis again, and he is inside of a volcano at the lava lake in his heat suit, and he shot that promo for us, which was pretty cool. We try to bring the extremely cute into classrooms. We do regular events live from the Toucan Rescue Ranch in Costa Rica, so I think you can see why these kind of events would be pretty popular with classrooms. And then we bring the extremely important live to classrooms. So this is Ol Pejeta Conservancy in Kenya. That's Amy Vitale, a National Geographic photographer. And those are the last 2 northern white rhinos on the planet. So we broadcast live, really showing students what's happening with biodiversity, and that even large charismatic species like this are on the verge of disappearing. In fact, on World Rhino Day, on the 22nd of September, we had a full day of live events, bouncing around the world, focusing on the 5 species of rhino and just how extreme it's become. That rhinos have to be airlifted from South Africa, where there's an incredible amount of poaching going on, to Botswana, where they're more protected. And then I'm going to share this little clip here. It's about 4 minutes. It can get a little bit intense midway through, but we were able to broadcast something pretty wild live into Classroom. So I'm going to let this play here. We're going to go live right now to Nico, flying by helicopter. Nico, how you doing?
Hey Joe, good afternoon to everybody there, and nice having you live streaming with us today. Thank you so much. A privilege on World Rhino Day.
Yeah, Nico, it's absolutely incredible. We've done a lot of events around the world. This is our first one from a helicopter, so you're making a little exploring by the seat of your pants history today.
Oh, that's beautiful, Joe. Such amazing to have all the people on board with us today. I hope the signal lasts. So I really hope that it can pull through. We're in a little bit of an isolated area, but we'll see how it all turns out. This is Ryan Jeffries, the vet behind me. He's assisting us. He's the veterinarian today, so he's helping me the rhinos today. We're looking for a rhino that's got a horn. That's potentially a problem for poachers, so you'll see them through the CP line coming through now. And it'll be the back one. We're going to dart the back rhino. You can see there. Joe, have you got visual?
Yeah, we've got a visual. We can see them on the ground.
Yeah, so we're gonna just gonna put away the camera now, and then we're gonna start with the darting process. Joe, you'll see the animal is almost down and sleeping, so we have to get the vet down just quickly to just stabilize the breathing. I'm just gonna go around the animal so you guys can just see what we see. And we've got the ground crew coming in. So you can see the animal is basically asleep there where he is now. And we're just going to try and land a little bit away. So just excuse that I'm going to go off the screen now. I just want to quickly land so we can get the vet to the animal.
Yeah, no worries, Nico. This is incredible.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Joe. Just check my tail, please. Ryan, my tail. Okay, you've got visual on the tail. Okay.
Sorry? So let's roll her over. Okay. Okay, Joe, so what we've got is we just put a blindfold up for the rhino. So you can see we're just going to let her go down quickly. That's it. So basically there you can see that is all. It's just touching on its active growth point. And you know, this is about a 300 gram rhino horn, so this probably would be worth in excess of about 10 to 15,000 US dollars, just this little piece. That's why this commodity is, you know, so unbelievably sought after. But he's fully awake now.
Very impressive, Nico, from start to finish. That was a quick process.
Okay, Joe, I'm not gonna go closer. So anyway, that was what what we would like to show you today.
Can you see him drink?
All right. Yeah, we can. Okay. So, yeah, pretty wild to be able to broadcast that live in the classrooms. That was just a few little clips from there. And apologies to whoever just joined right in the middle of that. You wouldn't have been prepared for that. But, you know, that's how extreme it's become in Africa. They were losing about, you know, over 1,000 rhinos a year in South Africa. And by removing the horns like that every few years, it deters the poachers. And, you know, they haven't lost nearly as many as they were losing at that time. So that's Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. That's kind of the adventure into science communication that, you know, my life took from the classroom to building out this program. So I left the classroom for 2 years with National Geographic. I'm going to talk about that for a minute before deciding to leave the classroom completely. So, you know, I think everybody here recognizes these magazines. You probably grew up with them in your house, in your school libraries, you know, find them in attics and basements and who knows where else. But, you know, growing up, these magazines were a big part of my life, exploring the world, learning about things going on, you know, looking up to the explorers and the photographers on the pages of the magazine. So, you know, I knew I wanted to be connected, have this project connected with the National Geographic somehow. So my first kind of experience with the National Geographic is I was accepted as a National Geographic Grosvenor Teacher Fellow. This is an awesome program for educators across North America who can apply. It's pretty competitive, but each year they select upwards of 30 to 40 teachers. You spend 4 days in Washington, D.C. at National Geographic headquarters, meeting the teachers and preparing for an expedition. So this was my group. From there, we were broken up into groups of 2 and 3. And over the course of the year, we were sent out on expeditions with Lindblad Expeditions. So some went to the Arctic, some went to Antarctica, British Isles, things like that. I was able to spend 10 days in the Galapagos. So this is, I don't want to say my crew, but this is the biggest amount of Canadians they'd ever taken up to date was 4 that year. So it's pretty cool to be with this group. And then I spent 10 days on board the National Geographic Endeavour in the Galapagos. And, it's everything you hear about it. As someone who studied biology, there was pretty much nowhere else in the world I wanted to visit. And it was just wild exploring the islands and the life on the islands, seeing, how different it is from the mainland, and seeing, just seeing these species totally unafraid of humans, going about their daily activities as if, we weren't even there. Sometimes birds would land on us. We'd have to move out of the way so we wouldn't get trampled by sea lions or giant tortoises. Here's some flightless cormorants. Sea lions on the beach. The blue-footed boobies. So, watching them go through their behavior. So here's the male dancing for the female, and you can see her zeroed in right on these feet. So the bluer the feet, the healthier he is, the more fish he's catching, the more pigment is being transferred. So he danced for a good 10, 15 minutes while we watched. And at the end, she just, feet weren't blue enough and she flew away. So try again another time. Every dive ended with sea lions, playing with the young sea lions, the marine iguanas, nutrient-rich waters. So sometimes you'd look around and see 20 or 30 green sea turtles sharing the space with you. And of course, the giant tortoises. So, pretty wild. The landscapes were pretty wild. The Galapagos is about 97% protected. So there's only 4 kind of smaller spots where humans can live. The rest is left as national park, much of which can only be visited with special permission for researchers. Every island's different, completely different landscapes. And it's the only place in the world I've ever had to walk over a sea lion to get into the bank. In 2017, I was brought on as an emerging explorer with the National Geographic Society. So every year they look around the world for, 12 to 14 people who they think are, game changers, kind of shaking up their field and doing exciting things to support that work and to amplify that work. So this is my fellow class from all over the world, all doing incredibly amazing things. So it was a real honor to be picked with this group. And then, of course, to spend time with the National Geographic Society. So this is my secret girlfriend, Sylvia Earle. If you don't know Sylvia, she's absolutely incredible. Female Jacques Cousteau, been exploring our planet underwater. So many firsts. It's not even funny. Other great people on the right here, there's Bob Ballard, so discovered the Titanic and hydrothermal vents. Lee Berger discovered 2 new species of human ancestors. Crazy cave diver Kenny Broad, and then Alizé Carrère, who documents how humans are adapting to global warming around the planet. The education team that I get to work with on a regular basis. At the festivals each year, explorers from around the world gather together in DC for conferences and presentations and networking and all kinds of other fun things. Got to present on the National Geographic stage, which was pretty awesome. Take part in some panels. And then just meet some great people. So here's the class of emerging explorers again, cleaned up a little bit more for the awards night. Got to meet James Cameron, which was pretty cool. So I'm sure you all know his movies, and most of you probably know he was the 3rd person to reach Challenger Deep, so the deepest part in our ocean. And so yeah, that was kind of some of my experience with National Geographic. There's the grant program. So, as you're going through school right now and thinking about research projects and what you want to do, there's early career grants and grants for research and such, which is a great gateway into the program to become an explorer at the National Geographic Society. I spent 2 years as an education fellow, so 6 months. In 2017, I was their first fellow. In 2018, 4 more joined me. And then in 2019, there was a new class of fellows you can see down here at the bottom.
National Geographic.
And I founded a sister program with them called the Explorer Classroom Program. So basically live virtual events for classrooms, but more focused on the field and of course highlighting different National Geographic explorers in the field. So 2 more experiences just to touch on quickly. In 2018, I was a top 50 finalist for the Global Teacher Prize, which was pretty awesome. So if you haven't heard of this, it's like kind of crazy, the Nobel Prize of Teaching, where the top teacher selected gets $1 million for their programs, in their country. On the way to the big conference, spent time in Egypt before heading to Dubai, and then getting to meet, a little side trip. Of course, I did some diving in Dubai when I had the opportunity. But the big thing was getting the opportunity to meet with and network with teachers all around the world. So this is Canadian educators from past years who were selected as finalists. And Maggie right here in the middle, 4 years ago now, won the $1 million prize, which was pretty wild for the work she was doing with First Nations in Quebec. And then out in the desert with the team in our national Canadian dress, of course. And then, like I said, a great group of educators from all around the world to network with and work with, which is pretty cool. And then recently, I was a science communication fellow aboard the exploration vessel Nautilus, so Bob Ballard's ship, and was able to spend 2 weeks doing live science communication on a deep sea expedition off the coast of California from his ship. So this was in some kelp forests right before the expedition. And then this is the ship. So this amazing vessel spends 6 months or more of the year out on the water. Different scientists and crews rotate on and off for different research projects, depending on where they were. And as a science communication fellow, I got to be up in the, you can't see, kind of see it back here. This is the communications kind of truck or facility This massive dish up here allows connectivity pretty much anywhere on the planet. And all of the dives are broadcast live from to the world. So we're using remotely operated vehicles, 3-4 kilometers deep, exploring parts of the ocean never explored before and broadcasting it all in real time. So my job as a science communication fellow was to be kind of the go-between between the scientists, the navigators, the ROV pilots, and then the whole community around the world who was tuning in live and sending in questions of what we were up to. So just a wild experience. Got on board in San Francisco, headed out under the Golden Gate Bridge. And then there was our toys. This is Hercules, 5,000 pounds, millions of dollars, camera equipment, lights, sample collectors, you name it, and can be underwater for 40 hours or more at a time. This is another one of the ROVs, Argus, kind of a bit more of a skeletal ROV, but can go to deeper depths. And then, no, we won't go all the way through this, but there's around quite a bit. You can imagine what's happening, everything on the shelf, the kitchen, everywhere else. And then, you know, one of the best experiences, one of the craziest things that happened on this was this discovery. So,
little spiral snail shells.
About
there's some
there's
eggs.
some
A lot of eggs.
About 40 hours into a dive.
One.
Yeah.
It's moving its tentacles a lot.
Yeah, let's get a shot of that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
of octopus. They're all
This is
turned
great.
over upside down. You can see they're protecting eggs when you get in a little bit
Oh,
closer.
yep, she has eggs.
Oh yeah,
Is this enough octopus for you, Joe?
I could not have asked for
Look how shiny
more.
those eggs are.
Yeah. No, this is very.
So a dozen turned into a few dozen.
So I don't know if we've talked about this yet, but are these likely male or female doing the brooding?
A few dozen turned
likely
into
female.
hundreds, and hundreds turned into thousands. So we found the deepest, largest colony of brooding octopus
You know, it's not
to date,
every
ever
octopus
discovered
is in
on
this
this old
position. There was
seamount,
one
this
that was
distinct
just one
volcano
out of
about
view
3
below.
kilometers,
That's out and
beneath the
facing
ocean.
outwards with
It's pretty
tentacles
wild.
extended.
Um,
But the majority that we've
cast
been
this
seeing in
live
this
and then
area
have, you know, the video
are
clips
in
kind of go
what
viral.
looks to be a brooding pose.
Part
Steve,
of
can you
this
take
science-
stills?
Science and
Or
community.
are you just doing video and then pull the stills afterwards?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the process is for pulling stills, but not from
Ooh.
this desk here.
And then there's an octopus that's settling
I
down.
take screenshots for
So,
stills while we're sampling and
enough,
I'll
of that. And so we celebrated Halloween on board, which was fun. A bummer because I missed Halloween with my kids. But my little guy Finn is a huge Pokemon fan. So I found this Pikachu full body suit in San Francisco in Chinatown, and then slapped my mask on. So I was Scuba Chew. So he was pretty excited to see that live from the ship. All right. Well, that's what I wanted to share with you. Let me stop this share here if it'll let me. Just a little bit of my experience, how I came into the world of science communication, where it's taken me. And, you know, that's kind of what I want you to see with this course is that science communication can take you to a lot of amazing places. It's a career that's growing really quickly as scientists realize that they need people out in the field with them, that they need people in organizations who can take complex ideas and break them down to the general public and make it interesting and exciting for everything from funding to just engagement from the public in general. So over the course of this course, we're going to dive into different forms of science communication, different ways to communicate science to the public. And, you know, the point of this isn't, you know, for you to sit around and do midterms and exams. There is no midterm, there is no exam. There's just a collection of assignments throughout the next 3 months. Creating videos, creating podcasts, creating content, you know, practicing, doing things that you may not have done before. And the whole point is just to get comfortable with it and find things that you like, things that you don't like, things you want to try more of. So again, this, you know, this course I think will be very easy for a lot of people who just try new things, take some time, experiment. you know, that's the whole idea of this is I want to see you trying new things with science communication. Another highlight is throughout the weeks, we're going to connect with some of my Explorer friends around the world. So to learn about their work, to learn about how they use social media, video, writing, and that kind of thing as medium to share what they're doing. So yeah, we're going to get to meet some really cool people over the course of the semester. So before I take some questions, I think I'll quickly just breeze through the course outline. Of course, you can take a look at it, you know, at your leisure. It may change slightly. I'm still kind of going back and forth. With the last time I taught this, I ended up removing an assignment and condensing things a little bit. So I'm still thinking about it. I might make a small change to the course outline this week, but it's pretty accurate the way it is now. So let me just share here for a second. Go back to that share screen. All right. So of course, you know the course time because you're here right now. So that's good. That's just a little bit about me. We do have a graduate student with us, which is very exciting. I didn't have someone joining me the last time I taught the course. So Jessica Woodman is joining us. She's in the call as well. So I'm sure you'll get to know Jessica as the course goes on. All right, let's go down a little bit. So we're going to cover topics, some introductions. We're going to go kind of behind the scenes of science communication, learn about different science communicators. We'll dive into public speaking, social media, you know, things like starting a personal website and a blog, communication plans, which are really important. You know, you may find yourself in government or working for different organizations, and they like to see communication plans, you know, a plan for how you're going to get the word out over the course of, you know, X number of months. So we'll do a little bit of that. Science writing, which is obviously incredibly important in all sorts of different mediums. And then it kind of gets a little more fun towards the end. We'll go into storytelling and unconventional science communication. We'll do some video. And then we'll go a little bit deeper into, you know, where things are going with virtual reality and augmented reality, taking your audience further, careers in science communication. You know, I have tons of friends who invented their career. You know, their career didn't exist a few years ago. Like one, she's a creative conservationist. So she uses art and media and sculpture for different organizations, you know, to spread the word about conservation and things that are happening. Another friend of mine, he was a satellite propulsion engineer who started using tech and maker spaces to build monitoring gear for conservationists, whether they're monitoring poaching, illegal poaching, or you know, taking measurements in the Okavango Delta in real time. So careers that didn't exist before. So a few of the assignments, you know, there's 20% for participation, and that 20% is really just a few intro assignments. I'll introduce one of them today, and then keeping a little weekly blog, but that doesn't start until later in February. A 2-minute oral presentation about a science concept, a profile of a science communicator, some practice social media posts, a communication plan. The real big kind of writing assignment is this one, where we're going to take a journal article, which is basically pretty much the most unfriendly form of science that you can have. And your job is going to be to break it down for the general public. So a few different summaries of that article for the general public. And then we're going to, you know, you'll have a choice for one of them, kind of an unconventional science media piece. You might choose a podcast. You might choose, you know, a photo story. You know, we'll get a little more deeper into that as time goes on. And then we wrap up with the science communication video. So all of these dates should be pretty accurate down here. Obviously, there's no kind of in-person office hours, but before and after the course, I'm happy to be available, you know, for any questions or anything that you might have. So let's kind of hit the brakes there. And I think now is a good time to kind of open things up. I can see there's been a lot of action in the chat, which I've kind of totally ignored so far. I see someone's dad has a weird obsession with sharks. That's cool. You know, feel free to turn your mic on to ask any questions now too. It's obviously a little more fun to do it that way. How deep were we in Monterey Bay? So the deepest was about just under 4,000 meters, so about 4 kilometers. And they're retrofitting Hercules now to go to 6 kilometers, which will open up pretty much most of the ocean. Hercules will be able to dive in, which is pretty cool. Is there a Facebook or group chat for this course? There isn't, but you know, if there's interest, there's no reason why we couldn't do something like that. Or it sounds like a student might have already jumped in on that. I noticed the dates don't match up in the course outline. Let me check here because they put the course outline up for me. So if they made some mistakes, we can have them fix it, because they had my old course outline as well that they kind of pieced together. Some of you may have seen the old course outline, the one that was up until yesterday. So that might be why some of the dates don't appear to match up. But 22nd, February 1st, February 8th, February 22nd, March 5th, 29th, April 9th. These look pretty accurate to me. These ones here that are listed here. You may have also seen that some of the old assignments were still up from last year. I took those all down and I'm going to re-upload slightly changed versions of them. But from what I see here, this looks pretty accurate here for the due dates that are coming up. If you see something else somewhere else, let me know so I can change it. But these look reasonably accurate. Don't be shy. Feel free to turn on your microphones if you do have any questions. I can see people are getting added to the group chat. People want to go to Monterey Bay and Big Sur. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And the diving in the kelp forests was pretty darn amazing. 2 course outlines. Let me just double check. I can only see winter 2019. Well, I've got it open here, so let me see what I see. I only see the one, but I can dig a little bit deeper and see what I can find here. Okay. Yeah, again, don't be shy. Any questions, feel free to turn on the mics.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good.
I just have a quick question about it. I wasn't here for the first half of the class, maybe I missed it, but I checked on CourseLink and the first assignment is not there anymore.
Yeah, I pulled it all down because they uploaded everything from the 2019 course.
Okay. Oh yeah, I saw that earlier too. I figured it was like the dates would match up, but I didn't check that. But alrighty, so you're gonna put it back up today?
Yeah, everything will be slowly updated with the assignments. But those dates on the course outline, I think I closed my window all the way, so I'm going to open a new window here. Oh, there it is. Let me go back in here and see what I can see. I only see, and somebody else check for me as well, I only see one course outline.
I see the winter 21 outline when you hit course outline at the top, but there's another section for course outline where under content, and that one has the winter 19 one.
Gotcha.
So I think
looks like they didn't delete it. It is now officially deleted. If you click course outline at the top, that's the correct one. 3650 winter 21. Let Let me see if I can delete this little subheading here as well so you guys don't get confused. Here we go. There. So now you shouldn't see anything except for the course outline at the very top with the 2021 course outline.
Yep, it's gone.
Perfect. And those dates should all be accurate as well. As I scan through one more time. Maybe they didn't fix the days. I might have to go in and do that myself, but the dates. So January 22nd, February 1st, February 8th, February 22nd, those are all accurate in there. Yeah, so we've got about 5 more minutes together today. Thursday will be a little strange. I have a live event that I can't move, but I'm going to send you the link so you can tune in and join the live event. And we may meet for about half an hour before that live event. So still during the regular course time for kind of a little bit of an introduction, and we can talk a little bit more about the first assignment that's coming up. In fact, I'll share my screen one more time here and we'll take a very quick look at that first assignment, which is pretty easy, pretty straightforward, I think. Where is it? There it is. Okay, back to the screen share. So the very first thing we're going to do is a little about me assignment. It's just participation. It's worth 3%, so it's not anything to stress out about. And you have a choice. There's an online platform called About Me, where you can build a page about yourself, or you can choose to do a 1 to 2 minute video introducing yourself. So again, this is strictly for participation and towards 3% of your participation mark. This is the old one here, pulled offline. It's due on the 22nd. And just to show you an example here of an About Me page. Let's see if I still have mine open. I do. One more share here. So an About Me page, you can find it online, just about.me. There's, a spot. You can pick a few different formats for it. There's a spot for a photo, a spot for a link, and then a spot for some information. So really, I just want you this week into next week to either build an About Me page. Unless you're sharing it, it's not easy to find. But, I encourage you to keep it live and keep updating it. And a lot of people take this page and they add it to their Facebook or they add it to their Twitter account as a spot where people can kind of dive in and learn a little bit more about them. So, as some of you might be thinking about masters or, careers and such in the future, these kind of pages are becoming more and more popular. So this is something that only needs to be live for a few days, if that's all you're comfortable with. So I can just take a look at it and make sure that everybody took part. And then you're welcome to take it down or use it as you see fit. Or your second option is to do the video. So a 1 to 2 minute video via YouTube. If you're shy, you can keep it private or unlisted and just share the link with me by the 22nd. And then you can, do whatever you want with it. Take it down, delete it off your YouTube, whatever you choose. So we'll talk a little bit more about this if we do meet for about half hour on Thursday. But essentially, a brief bio including your hobbies, your interests, your academic background. Talk a bit about fields of science that interest you. Is there someone in the science world who inspires you? Your current career goal? Some interesting thing that maybe nobody or a lot of people don't know about you. And then, the About Me page isn't big. It's 500 to 600 words. And then the video, 1 to 2 minutes there. So let's come back from that screen share. Before we kind of break up for today, I'll get the website updated with the new little assignment descriptions. So if you're keen to kind of get a jump on some of them, you're more than welcome to. Other than that, a minute or two if there's a couple more questions. and then I will send out some information via the course outline and the announcements about Thursday, today, what Thursday is going to look like. Okay, I'm going to guess that we don't have any questions. Of course, you have my email. You can reach out to me. The account, I can get back into it now, which is awesome. So that's a good spot to reach me. Other than that, we'll see everybody Thursday for a period of time before you can switch to the live event. Okay. You can see people signing off. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Good stuff. All right. Yeah. I heard somebody. But
are there like notes or anything for this class? More just like.
Are there what? Sorry.
Is there like notes for this class that we have to take, or is it just more or less just like an experience kind of?
Everything's going to be via Prezi, like the presentation I showed you today, and I'll post the links for that as well.
Okay, cool.
And everything is recorded in case you couldn't make something live.